Welcome to Your Energy First, the podcast where intuition meets mindset for aligned decisions in life and business. I'm your host, Emily McNaughton, here to help guide you in unlocking your unique energy and create success your way. Welcome, everyone. I am so excited to have back my dear friend, Tegan, who does tarot and astrology. And I also want to make a quick note because I'm not sure I've mentioned this before, but moving forward, the podcasts are coming through intuitively. So instead of every Wednesday, they're going to be coming through because now I'm intuiting activations for the podcast. And I love how on brand Tegan messages me the other day. She's like, "You gotta listen to this." And here we are. And it's 24, less than 24 hours later, and we're recording a podcast for people. And I'm so excited about what you have brought to the table. And I just want to start with a moment of gratitude from my heart, from my being, from my light, saying thank you so much for volunteering your time, your expertise, and your knowledge and your excitement with what you're going to share with us today.
Emily, thank you for having me. I just love it. The times we connect, it's so electric. And so to be here, face to face online with you again I'm feeling like, oh, here we go. All the energy is building up. It's lovely.
It
Thank you.
is.
Okay, wow, what a weekend. So we had a full moon eclipse.
Oh
Did you feel it?
my gosh. I told you I was starting on Wednesday, I started to feel it. Thursday, I was racked out. I mean, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like I just rested and slept, rested and slept. It was all I can do. And by the way, I should also preface this, Tegan's doing about a 2 to 4 week forecast for us here.
Yeah, super like small but potent time.
Yeah, I like it, which is so on brand for the energy right now.
Yeah, and so it's just like immediate and happening. Well, that full moon eclipse was huge, right? It's like clearing out, clearing out, clearing out. For me, it was so much about grief and sorrow and feelings where I'm like, I don't even know where it's coming from, but it's all coming up through my heart. And so it was, our trainings are like, well, just sit with it. Just
Right,
like
right.
hunker down and it doesn't need to be fixed, right? You just kind of move it. But thank goodness, Sunday, yesterday, I'm like, I'm back in the land of the living. Like, I'm
Good,
alive.
good.
But that's when all this like really exciting stuff started coming forward that I want to share. So it's a really powerful week, 2 weeks really for what's happening astrologically. That let's start. So yeah, we have the eclipse that kind of got us rolling with the you just kind of think things are moving out naturally. What needs to leave is moving out, and it's creating space for new life energy, new consciousness to come in. So if we back up in a little bit to March 2nd to now going forward to April 13th, this is Venus retrograde. She's very significant. Every time she goes retrograde, there's some very important restructuring of personal value systems happening.
So true.
And it's lovely because retrogrades just mean reflection and inward. So we don't need to get afraid. It's like we love being inwards, that's where the real powerful work, that's where the real shifts happen. And a fun thing to play with Venus retrograde is very patterned. So you might think, well, what was coming up in my life 8 years ago between, again, March, April, like this time frame, the spring equinox, or, yeah, in the north. And so there'll be 2017. You can even go back 16 years to 2009, take a deep dive to 2001. What are some of those large steps that you've already lived through in your life? Because that's the area Venus retrograde is circling back again.
May I
And
take a moment here? Because I would love to know how people, because people say this a lot, like what was happening during at your life during this time. And unless there was a major event, I don't really know. And I want to know how people keep track of this because there's no way I can sift through all my journals. I just like, what are we doing? Can somebody put in the comments somewhere like this is a good way to keep track of these things?
yeah,
Someone needs to create that journal.
I like fast things, so I scroll through my photos. I'm like, because it has the calendar on the side.
Brilliant.
See a couple of pictures and I'm like, oh, I was visiting a friend that weekend or, whatever. And so it's the simple way, get a little Snapchat.
I love it.
But yeah, that's a good point because yeah, it's like our life moves forward. We don't necessarily keep this long archive of going through the library of our days.
Mhm.
But yeah, so those kind of Venus retrograde, and it's not saying Venus only goes retrograde every 8 years. It's every 8 years in this part of your chart. So
Okay.
she's in retrograde maybe. It's like every couple-ish years. It's a bit of an irregular pattern, so it's
I
not like
like
a
that.
steady thing. And so in every 8 years, she's here in this part of your chart. So it's significant because it's with the equinox. It's when the sun, which means the sun goes into Aries, and that's the astrological new year, the springtime. So I just really want to touch on why this is important. We're like, oh, what do I value? I don't value this. I do value this. Thinking about where do I feel undervalued? Where have I maybe been dismissed? And our reaction of like, well, I seek value from others because I feel a little insecure in this area. That will create some patterns in our life. And the unhealthy patterns tend to be when we haven't valued, we're kind of out of alignment. I think I need a lot of attention because I didn't get enough attention in this, and in my marriage or whatever, I'm growing up or the school performance. And so we realize like maybe we're attracting unwanted attention. And so as we are able to identify and really like fine tune and shift our value, oh, I don't just want attention, I want meaningful connection. Or I
Right.
just don't want money, I want space where I don't have to work so much. Like these things, like really tuning in, like what is really nourishing is going to be mighty potent when Venus starts going direct, which is April 13th. So that's when these like identifications become very powerful tools that we get to like embody and anchor into our life. So during this time, and that's the Venus retrograde, today is really special. So we had Venus retrograde last weekend, the clearing out, the full moon eclipse. Today, March 17th, the sun is conjunct the north node. And this is collectively. So it's a supercharged time of having sun, think of it as our consciousness, it's how we recharge. It's plugged into our north node of this is the direction I want to move forward. Now,
I
what's,
love that.
yeah, it's,
Also, when you had mentioned the clearing,
yeah.
one of the things that was happening is I was noticing super old memories come through, like felt almost at random. I'd be like, haven't thought about this in 3 decades. And then you also mentioned, like just now, you so beautifully explained how this Venus retrograde is meant to support and guide us, which I love. And one of the energies that came through the other day is how we compare ourselves to others. And so, upon all of these reflections, one of the things that came to me and I know we were just talking about today's energy, which I'm so pumped for. One other thing is intuitively, if people were to write down seemingly like what feels stuck. And do you know what's so crazy? Tonight in the Your Energy First monthly, it's St. Patty's Day, and what I was intuiting, because I intuit the dates for these things, is this leprechaun energy. But then when I held energetic space for leprechaun energy, I was like, it just doesn't quite feel like it's not bad, but it's not great. So then I held space for it further, and the reflection question is, what are you searching for?
Mm,
So
mm,
a leprechaun energy is a solo fae energy, and he leads you astray. So in this whole like what are you searching for? It's like the question was, are you feeling a bit lucky and mischievous in your own life, and what are you searching for? And I kind of like that because the mischievousness allows us to kind of be that like it's not about the perfection. And then the lucky is like, let's call in our new path. What have we been searching for? Like, let's bring ourselves on on the track of our highest alignment. Okay, back
oh,
to
I
what you
love
were,
it.
yeah, back to
And
what you were saying.
I want to throw in there too because it's an energy that is playful. It that is a playful energy in a different realm is like the coyote energy. It's in tarot, it can be like the magician energy, this
I love
leprechaun, like
that.
it's like, okay, what are we doing? What's gonna stick? And so that's a beautiful time. How do we know what's going to grow unless we put many seeds in the ground? So it's a time to be playful, to be mischievous, to get
Love
out
that.
of our formulas, to like get creative, to not necessarily listen to these really heavy rules that have come in and be like,
Amen.
do I value that? What do I
Amen.
value? So I'm like, collectively, we're all kind of working in our realms, but doing this together, even though, I mean, it's just so beautiful. The stronger we are as individuals, the brighter our collective energy is. And that's truly the
Amen.
overarching theme that's like really luminescent in the next couple of weeks. So I get super excited about it because I'm like, great, I can just stay in my lane and do my little bit. But knowing that everyone doing their bit is like, oh, I get the benefit. We all do.
This feels so good and so fabulous. And I love what you said based on our values. Like based
Yeah,
on our values versus the rules versus
yeah.
that feels so dense and no longer needed. Okay.
No, yeah. And so, okay, so today, Sun conjunct the North Node. Classically, this is a sign of like the arrow launching forward. However, because we're playing with the trickster, well, like the leprechaun energy, we're at the very last sign or the last few degrees of Neptune, the last signs of the zodiac. So,
Exciting.
Sun, North Node, Neptune,
Okay.
three powerful soul purpose, soul reflection energies are at the let's just say last degree of the zodiac.
Bring it.
Now, this week, the 17th to 19th, they're all in the meeting together. So it's framing the question around new beginnings of what have we accumulated, and in order to move forward, what are we taking with us? What are we leaving behind? And a really simple way to understand this that I relate to is being in the market and spending as much time as I want and grabbing the little whatever the things are and putting them in my basket. And this March 17th to 19th week is like, okay, now I'm in the checkout line. Like, here's the money on the table, the stuff in the bag, and then I get to leave the store. Like I'm on the path. And what I do with these items, that'll be determined, in the months and weeks to come. But I've made my choices. I've had my selection process. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to like get out of the shopping and into the doing. And so
Ooh.
this is again, can be a really internal time, a lot of reflection, sensitivity. There might be parts of us that are like, I need that freedom, but I can't quite do it today. So, a little bit of that movement coming in, but just allowing the clarity of the soul awakening. Just be like, my soul is awakening and I want to hold her. Like, I want to hold that energy and let that unfurl, just like a butterfly coming out of the chrysalis. The wings need to stretch out and then they need to dry. And she's like, oh, cool, what the hell is this all about? And and if you imagine, like, you put yourself in that body of the butterfly, the up until that moment, she's been a caterpillar, right? She's been like feet on the leaves, and I love the earth and I love the green. And then I had this little womb that maybe we don't want to leave, or maybe we're like, things have been on hold for so long, I can't, like, let me out, let me out. There's a few different ways that's being experienced. But this week is the unfurling. We've put our items in the bag, we've unfurled our wings, and there's going to be, how do I describe it? When we talk about soul, conscious, and clarity, things, items, awarenesses that are asked of us or that come into our framework that can make us feel like, what the heck? You want me to do what? So go back to that butterfly analogy where she's like, cool, look at my wings. And then just like, wait a sec, you want me to fly to that tree? Like, my little feet have, which I don't really have anymore because I'm a butterfly, but my caterpillar feet have always been on the ground or on the leaf. And now you want me to be airborne. And then of course, the beautiful migration of the butterflies, like all their symbolism really steps forward once the wings come out. That's what's being asked of us. individually, but also collectively. And we don't need to know the migration of where we're going. We just need to find a way to, I think that's where values come in, to say yes to what we align with in this next big evolutionary step. Knowing the butterfly, of course she's going to fly, but that's us too. Of course we're going to fly. Of course we're going to go to that place. Of course, this is what we're meant to do. It's what we're designed to do. But just allowing for that, that tenderness, that vulnerability, that gentleness as the inspiration comes in, as those new steps are being presented. And I'm like, we're living it right now. So this is just, it can feel motivating and excited, but you can have a friend or a partner who's like, whoa, this is overwhelming, it's too much. So I'd say, like, let there be room for all these different experiences, because it's super powerful.
So we have been caterpillars, and then we've been in our cocoon for a certain amount of time, which I think a lot of people are going to be resonating with. Right. And so basically now we're butterflies
And
and
mhm.
figuring out where we're going as a butterfly, because where we were going as a caterpillar is very different because we have different capabilities and tools now, aka our wings.
And so there's a few more astrology bits I want to bring in, like, what are my wings? Where am I going? Like, what do I do with this information? So on March 20th, and we're still in this week, March 20th, now we have an equinox, which is, the balancing of light and dark. There's beautiful ceremonies all around the world. Mexico has some pretty famous ones.
Yes.
And it's just this time of the sun moving into Aries, coming out of the water into the fire, coming out of the winter into the spring. So
Wow.
it's a balancing time. Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, how does this astro, because I can see it and I want you to help us like land and understand how different is this astro from what we've been experiencing these last couple of years? Does that make sense when I ask that? Like, have we had other bits of this? Is this super distinguished? Is this like a launch pad for us? Are we launching into a different realm? Does the astro continue to nurture this? Obviously, it's going to continue to nurture this path. I guess what I'm asking is in the last 5 to 15 years, we've had a lot of progress, regression, progress, regression, progress, regression. How much of that in the astro do we continue to experience? Let's just say in these upcoming months.
Yeah. Perfect. It's the perfect question. Because it's like the butterfly was the caterpillar, was the cocoon, the transformation happened. If we work with gene keys, it would be the dragonfly, 7 years in the water, and then this like electrical internal alchemy happens, and now you're
Mhm.
dragonfly, and you can see 360 degrees, and you're in multidimensional spaces, and you're flying around, and you're like, well, this is really different than when I was a tadpole in the water or the caterpillar on the leaf. So those animals, and if you're curious, it's really fun to look up like the biology of these animals that transform their elements and their shapes, because we too are part of nature. And that's where I feel like the astrology is, there's parts of us that are releasing, that we've been nourished by in the womb with, reconstructing, frustrated with, but also inspired by all that tumultuous, 5, 10, 15 years of like life.
Right.
And now it's the like, boom, we're the cracking open. And what I'm just like, thank goodness, because a lot of the higher consciousness, we've been waiting. We're like, come on, when's the green
Seriously.
light? Like, what is it? Disclosure? Is it disaster? Is it change? Is it, do I need to do something? Is there more I need to do? Like the million questions. And my sense of it, and this can be very personal to me, but I'll share it because maybe it's not just me. Maybe this is something threads we're picking up on, is that what we are collectively involved in right now, this 2-week period before April, is the inner fire. So that will show for us, it will brighten for us in different ways. And that's where truly the change comes from. Now, in our history of humanity that we've been told, more or less, maybe we've dreamed and have some, visions and other more like accurate histories, but we're familiar with invasions and wars and oppression and genocides and traumas and terrorism and. So when we're like, oh, it's a time of great change, there can be this sense of like, oh my God, how am I going to prepare? Like, oh my God, I can't handle another attack. Like, what catastrophe is coming in?
But this one's internal.
This is internal, and it's collective and it's individual.
I knew it.
So I'm like, rest your awareness in that, coming back to what do I value? That's what I have control over. That's where I can put my time and my focus and my light and my energy. That's where I can contribute to my life and the collective.
Yep.
That's where I can be in service in this moment. And all I need to do is unfurl my wings.
Right.
So it's exciting. And astrologically, we've got all these planets at the culmination point, 29 degrees, 29 degrees Pisces. So that's very unique for astrology. In fact, I might just jump ahead and be like March 30th. So that's where I'm like, in April, it will be different. March 30th, Neptune goes into Aries. This is humongous. I mean, I'm sure we talked about it in our other call, but it's every astrologer for a long time is going to talk about it because this is unique in our lifetime. Our grandparents maybe went through this. Our parents will never have experienced it. And our kids won't experience it either. It's very, very, very unique. Neptune takes, was it like almost 170, 164 years to go around the zodiac. So if we live a long life by today's standards, like 90, 100 years, Neptune might go through 6 or 7 of our zodiac houses. Collectively, we're rebirthing Neptune as it goes to the 0 degree of Aries. And that's happening in 2 weeks.
So, and it's at the 0 degrees. So that's even.
Yeah, the baby.
What emotionally might one be experiencing in relation to this?
Yeah, great question. So let me just, the way it feels to me in my sense of things. And I'm being intuitive. We're lovers of Neptune. We're lovers of Pisces in the 12th house. It's like, this is our watery world of nonverbal communication where we're like, oh, here's where my family is. That's Neptune energy. So it's, kind of the salt water of the ocean. It's the creamy dream time. It's the colors behind the eyes. It's the heart, the heart feeling. It's the mood lighting. It's like this beautiful, atmospheric, timeless, multidimensional oneness. And where healing happens, transformation. It's one with infinity. It's that feeling. 0 degrees Aries is like, I'm a puppy and I want to run and there's a tree and there's a squirrel and I got to pee on the carpet. I'm going to chew your shoe and I'm going to eat the food. And now I need a nap. And I just need a nap. Okay, I'm back. What are we going to do? Bark, bark, bark. What's this? Oh, I love you. Oh, I got it. It's like, holy shit. So we'll feel it.
Okay, this makes so much sense because with everything evolutionizing in our culture, we're all, all this inner work. Now it's how do I bring my inner work to the outer world when there hasn't been as much of a baseline for that, unless you were like a extreme, like fantastic artist, which everybody is, but you know what I mean. And so now we're all like, okay, how do I bring my work into this world? How do I bring myself into this world? And I can see how it would be, we're all going to be like puppy syndrome. Like, people are going to be doing this for the first time, figuring it out, finding their way. Oh, I've got this paw here. What do I use that for?
Exactly. And with that comes mistakes. we're learning, we're growing. What
Absolutely.
am I doing in my little, my big paws, my little body? What is right? What is wrong? What do I like? So there's forgiveness. The sweet part of Aries, sometimes we over focus on like the warrior energy, but there's playfulness. There's the spark of curiosity. I want to see it. I want to go. I want to try it. I want to taste it. Allowing that in ourselves and being gentle and forgiving with others as we kind of like stumble in, stumble around. Also knowing that depending, sometimes controlling agendas will be like, this is permanent and forever. And it would be like, good luck with that. Like, you're going to chew the slipper forever? Like,
Right.
So it's like, we will need to really connect in and be like, all right, well, this is real for me right now. And the rest of it, we'll just kind of we'll see what happens. I mean, literal examples. Everyone I know gets a puppy and like, oh, I'm going to crate train it. And within days, they're like, well, now they sleep in the bed.
I was just
So
gonna
I
say.
mean, it's like, but, why not?
Exactly.
So, yeah,
Big,
yeah.
big, big.
Big,
I
yeah.
love too this one of a couple of the energies that have been coming through in sessions for myself collectively has been this hope energy. You and I have talked about that on the podcast before. And this really lands that. Also, the curiosity. I think people have lost their curiosity for fear of failure, and failure is how you develop true self-love. It means that you're living life.
And I really appreciate so much of the work that you do with people like in your practice, Emily, with creating that container of these are my lived experiences, this working, it's not working, and then inviting others, what are yours? Like, let's share in this together, let's support in this together. Anybody who's in a teaching position is like, well, we're all going to be students of something. And if we don't speak the words or do the movement or like kind of like it's not even failing, it's just like stretching ourselves in new ways. We need
Exactly.
this like safety to be seen in our vulnerability so that we can develop that identity and self-mastery moving forward. And I do want to bring in one more astrology point that really like speaks to this. So it's a day to circle on the calendar, March 29th. Yeah, like one day before Neptune goes into Aries, is a new moon eclipse, a solar eclipse. And this eclipse is happening at the degree that Venus, when she went into retrograde, the new moon eclipse is happening at that degree. So it's sort of bringing us back to that place where we're like, before we reevaluated what's really important to us, the new moon will come in March 29th and say like, here you go. Here's what you wanted. Here's what you, not saying, I should be careful with my words. It's not like every wish and every manifestation comes through in the lens that we think we wanted it, but
Right.
it's the heart calling. It's like, here's that open door. This is what you've been working towards, that 5, 10, 15 years. Like, okay, here are the results. There you go.
I
So,
love it.
so yeah, so if you're like, wow, I've really been laying the groundwork and I've been showing up and I've been holding the space, not only do we have the freedom, but we're like, oh, now like, okay, I can see how this is tangible now, is working now. And if we're a little bit more, areas, of course, we've been out of alignment in, we might feel like, well, I know that's what I wanted, but now my values have changed, so I can actually let that go really easily because I feel quite motivated now to move in this new direction. And so as we go into April, certainly more of the weeks to come, as the Mercury comes out of retrograde, Venus comes out of retrograde, Neptune's in Aries, like these are more forward moving energies.
Yeah.
As we embark on in April, we'll be more the butterfly of like, oh, cool. So I can fly to this street. Oh, maybe I'll try there. Oh, there's a flower. Like we're kind of doing it. So we don't have to know today what that feels like. We'll just, I feel like saying like to bring in the deepest loving gratitude for life and for yourself and for these experiences in these 2 weeks as we wrap up March, because we will never individually and collectively ever live through a time like this again. It is so sacred. And sometimes, we don't really pay attention. We just kind of breeze through these big collective experiences. And this is, this is really beautiful. And to just, whether it's journaling or a little bit more not even more mindfulness, just like sharing your heart with others, maybe like calling some people you haven't called in a while, or connecting in ways and just being like, I really appreciate whatever it is, or sitting with nature, or the million things that you want to do. Just really bring your heart forward, because this is a time that people for many years, hundreds of years, are going to look back on and be like, what happened at that time? And you'll be like, I was there. Or your kids will be like, yeah, my great grandmother was there. So it's important.
That's really special. Thank you for sharing this. It's so good. And I love too where about this experience right now, it's about how are you feeling called to reflect in it or just be in it? And it's your own, just like every butterfly is unique. It's your own unique way of doing it. There's no right or wrong way to handle this season. It's whatever's coming to you. It's our individuality coming forward. And that's the energy. Thank you, Tegan.
Oh,
This
you're
has been
welcome.
amazing. So amazing. Where can people find you?
Online, Tegan Tarot, because I'm all over the place.
You
um,
are. You are a traveling woman right now.
I am being the butterfly. It's wonderful.
That's true.
And Instagram is where I post more like, fun photos and stuff. And my work is on my website. You can book astrology. I have so many astrology sessions right now, and that's why I'm like, I just need to like share this in a wider audience, because we're all flying together. We're migrating.
We
This is an
are.
electrical time. Like that light, it's happening. So like, enjoy and celebrate.
Exactly. I like that. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Gratitude and celebration. Thank you so, so much. Take care, everyone. You can find me at emilymarie.com. Talk soon. It has been so great to connect here. If this episode resonated with you, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who you want to have more of these chats with. As you move throughout your day, remember, your energy is your superpower. As you pay attention to it and trust it, you can watch your entire life begin to transform.